Impact Africa, our online talk show where we get to have conversations with diverse people and organizations who are impacting lives positively. This is a special series where we're focusing on Africa to coincide with the African Month in May. And my name is Kemi Akiode Adebayo, known as Mama K. And in today's program, I've got with me my dear sister and friend, Maimouna Dapullo-Baba. I hope I got it right. She's a serial entrepreneur and a lot of other stuff. And yeah, we're going to be chatting today. Maimouna, how are you? Welcome.
Thank you. I'm fine.
Good. What does Maimouna mean actually?
Well, in French, if you read, they will say favoured par le destin, which you can take it as I should consider myself the favorite of the destiny.
Okay.
God is always favoring me.
Me. Wow. What a beautiful meaning to your name.
And I must say, I don't have to complain.
So where were you born, Maimouna?
In Cameroon.
In Cameroon?
Yes.
Okay. So tell us about life. What position are you in your family?
Well, I was born in Cameroon and I have 4 big brothers.
Okay.
And I'm the elder daughter. And I have baby sisters, 3 baby sisters and 2 big brothers. Yeah.
So that's like 9.
Yeah.
That's a big family.
Very big. Yeah.
How was it like growing up?
I studied in Cameroon until 7 years, or 8 I think. Then after that, my dad decided.
Where in Cameroon? Because
Yaounde. I was born in Yaounde, the capital.
Yaounde, okay.
I was born in the capital, but my elder brother, they all went to Europe very, very early. They went to boarding school in Switzerland, in Geneva actually. And when I was around 8 years, my father decided to send me there too. So I arrived there. It was very, very funny because.
That's to Switzerland.
Yes. So
before we go to Switzerland, let me talk first about Cameroon.
Okay.
So life in Cameroon, your dad, your mom, your brothers, your sisters, although I think your sisters, maybe some of them were not even born.
Yeah, exactly.
At that time. So how was life for you growing up in Cameroon? And how is your dad? Because I know you're very close to your dad.
Yes, actually all my memories come back to my dad.
Okay.
I always say that he's the one who raised me, because I remember I was always behind him, going everywhere.
Tagging along.
Yes, exactly. And it was very funny because when, as a Muslim family, when there was this huge function where you will see men sitting around and having meeting, I would always be the girl coming in, and sitting.
And they allowed you to?
No, actually, my dad was allowing me to.
Okay.
But I could see in the face of all these men that
they were
shocked. Exactly. And then, in my village too, I think I was one of the only girls who was going on a horse. My dad wanted me.
So you could ride a horse? I
can ride a horse, yes. So my dad wanted me to be able to ride a horse, and he was always telling me every single thing a man can do, you can do it too. So I'm sure that my twins brother, who I just come after them, were not very happy about it, because when they used to have a bike, I would ask for, and then I remember one of my uncle offered me a doll. And he bought the bike and I started crying. I was like, I want
this doll?
Exactly, I don't want doll, I want a bike. So. But it's a good thing, because actually it pushed me to always challenge myself. And I was always trying to be better than my brothers, you see. Because my dad was always telling me, you can do better than them, you can do better than them. And he was always telling me that what I like about him is that he really did his best to empower me as a woman, and not for me to see that.
Which is unusual for
very unusual, extremely unusual. And at the time, I think that I was not realizing it. Like when I was riding the horse in my village, because I spent a lot of time in the village. I could see people staring at me, but I thought that they were staring because they think that I was an amazing
woman. So what's she doing?
Exactly.
She's a woman or a girl.
Exactly. And then and normally, even if a girl has to ride, they expect you to ride, in this position.
Okay.
But I wasn't. I was riding like a boy.
You were just a rider.
Yes, exactly.
Wow, interesting. That's interesting. So your dad, obviously, I think is an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur, and you as well, have become. But let's now move to Switzerland. So what took you to Switzerland? I know you said your brothers had gone to school there, so you went to school there as well.
My dad is a self-made man, and I think that what happened is because he wanted us to have the best education. I guess at that time people used to bring their kids in Switzerland at boarding school because first of all it's small, so you know that there is security, there's good schools, and that was the most important for parents. So that's the reason why he sent my brothers there. Then when I was 7-8 years, he decided to bring me there. But it was very funny because I had what they call a really huge cultural shock. That was something that was...
I know, coming from Yaounde.
I was traumatized.
Right.
Yeah.
So what was it specially that stood out for you, that traumatized you?
Normally, I went to Collège de Le Mans, which is a private international school, and then at the boarding school, normally we have different houses. So Villa Cristina was for small girls, and then there is another building they were calling Grand Villa, which was for teenagers.
Okay.
So unfortunately for me, when I arrived, there wasn't any more space at Villa Cristina. So they decided to put me with the teenagers. Okay. And so with all those girls from all very, very good family, and very naughty too. And I remember my first night, I arrived at school at night. The first day I arrived was at night, so they showed me my room, and I had this Mexican girl that was maybe 15 or 16 years. Obviously, when
you were out.
When you're 7, for you,
we are 15 years.
For you, a person of 60, she's big, big person. So what happened is that she was very nice, but the next morning, when I was supposed to go and take my shower, I just saw 2 girls passing by and they were completely naked.
It's like,
and
what is this?
What is this? Exactly. And then it was, and I actually, by the way, if Maya said that, hi Maya. And Maya was one of the girls, and she came to me and she was like, hello sweetie, and then she just bent and she kissed me. She gave me and I had all this breasts, I had all her breasts. So for me, they were like, there is something wrong with this, there was something wrong. So instead of taking my shower, I was like, no, I'm dressing. And it was really funny because I ran to the reception. I just dressed, I ran to the reception, I was like, I want you to call my dad now, I want you to call my dad now. And then so they phoned my dad, and I was like, Dad, they are all crazy. They are walking naked. It's not normal. Please come and preach me. He was like, okay, I promise you I'm coming tomorrow. Then I was like, okay, one day to go along. So I was always there, following my brothers everywhere. The next day, my dad didn't come. So I was very upset. And I told him again, he was like, oh, the plane, I have wrong with the plane. So obviously, I could see that he's not going to come back. But the school noticed that I was not very comfortable because every night I was like, please, I used to disturb my brother Musa. I was like, please come with me. Those girls are crazy. They do funny things that I don't understand. They kiss me in the mouth. They kiss me here. They do something funny.
Which were things you were doing.
Exactly. But they were so happy. I think I was cute. And my brother Musa was like, that girl like you. No, they're not like me at all. So when the director of the school saw that I was a bit disturbed because of that, he allowed my brother Musa to come, to always come to the because actually it was the boys' side and the girls' side was completely separated, like with the road. You see what I mean? So it was like they were not allowed to go, and so Musa was the only boy that was allowed to go there, and I was the only girl that was allowed to go to the boys' side. Then after I became a kind of a star, let's say, because I was the messenger between the boys and the girls, and it was quite funny for me, even though I did a lot of mistakes due to my cultural background. Like if a girl would tell me, go and find out what this guy think of me, I would go and say, okay, you know what, this girl like you like her too. And he would say, yeah, I think she's kind of...
But that's because you're a blunt person.
Exactly.
You're like, you've always been like...
Yeah. I was like, but why is she asking me to ask him
first,
all these things, you know, instead of...
Yeah.
So what she...
Just saying
I
it.
thought that she... No, actually, I thought that she wanted me to go and say, this person loves you. And then, what do you think of her? And the guy will say, okay, I think she's not bad. And I will go and say to her, he loves you too. But that was not the right message. Okay?
No.
That wasn't the right message. Anyway, but it was a very, very good experience.
What do you actually do? Or what kind of businesses have you done, up till now?
I've always told my dad that my dream was to be the Oprah Winfrey of Africa. And I'm a person, since I'm small, I love debate. I will always try to challenge the person in front of me. And I think that it came from my dad. Because in many ways, I look like my dad. So I don't think there is a wrong answer, but it's just different opinion. So when I'm in front of a person that wants to stick to his idea, I'll always challenge the person. So my dream was to have a show in Africa and do debate. And when I was in Switzerland, when I went to university, I launched a magazine called Downtown Magazine.
Okay.
It was mostly a lifestyle magazine.
Right.
So that was my first experience, just to see how things go. And then after that, while I was still going to university, most of the friends that I had that were black friends used to complain about nightclubs, saying that there's nowhere where
way to have fun, entertainment.
They were having you could have fun, but the problem is that there were nowhere they could listen to R&B music. So at that time it was really how do you call that? It was
not available.
I forgot, but it was very.
There's a gap in the market.
Yes, but actually it was the period where you can hear it was not electronic music, but
R&B.
There wasn't R&B. There wasn't hip hop, so there was a gap in the market. And I'm a person, I always say, when people ask me, do you have a passion? I say, I don't have a passion. I only have passion for success, and that's all. So when I see
there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. So when I see there is a gap in the market, even if it's to sell banana, then I'll go for it because I think
it's an opportunity.
Exactly.
The gap is, there's a need. There's a niche.
Exactly. That's what. Okay. That's the thing that interests me. So. With a friend of mine, we launched the first black nightclub. I was not running it at all. I was more in the administration side of it because I'm not a night person at all. So the name of the nightclub was Jet Set.
Okay.
And then 2 years after, we sold it because it was very, very successful, and actually. I didn't want it. I think at that stage I didn't want people to assimilate me with it, even though
because of your faith.
Yes,
in terms of
no, not because of my faith. Actually, I just didn't want people to think that because I am a Muslim and because I'm the daughter of, it's not normal that I did that. But for me, I was not seeing it that way. For me, it was business, simple as that.
Yeah, it's a business.
Exactly, and then it's something I'm proud of. Okay. Then, and after that...
You probably came to South Africa?
Yes. When I graduated, I came to South Africa.
Okay.
Exactly. And I started working in my father's company, which is a commercial real estate company. But at the same time, like I told you, I'm always looking for niche markets. That's something, that's me. So I saw that there were black South African didn't have real hair, salon, they didn't have Brazilian hair. It was something that wasn't common. There was no wigs. So I thought to myself, you know what, let me just see if it's going to work out. So I just took my plane, went to China, without knowing.
Where to go?
Actually, no.
Probably researched.
No, actually, I did my research, and then I was lucky because when I was in my university.
What did you study again?
I did communication and media, business law, and international relations.
Wow.
But let me tell you, that wasn't what I wanted to do. The only thing I wanted to do was journalism. Okay, so communication and media.
So why did you do
because actually
your dad or anyone say no or
no,
friends?
What happened to me is that I graduated from high school very early. So I went to university, and by the time I was 18, I already graduated from university because I tend to be bored very quickly. So for me, 4 years was too long. So I jumped and I did 2 summer courses that actually cover all the year. So I finished very early. Then my dad was like, oh, my daughter, I need you so much in the business. So please, can you learn a bit more about business law so that he can help me with all my content. Then I did what I believed him, and then I studied that. And after that,
But your interest, like you said, is more in journalism and communication.
Yes, that's what.
And especially somebody who has a vision to be Oprah Winfrey.
Exactly, you see. But at the same time too, my dream was to work with my dad. I really wanted to be a person that's going to be working next to my dad. For me, it was very, very important. So that is one of the things that thrived me at school. Every single thing I was doing, I was like, I need to be the best and I need to do it. My dad has to be proud of me. My dad needs me. So that was actually my idea. And I remember when I graduated from my first graduation, at that time my dad created a TV company which is called DBS.
Right.
And he was like, you see, and he told me, okay, now I created DBS for you. And I was like, oh, so I'm going to go to Cameroon and do journalism. He was like, no. I was like, so what's the use? He was like, no, so that you know. And I was very, very disappointed because I really wanted to participate and bring new ideas. Because I'm a person, I like to always shock. I like to shock people, say. Not to shock, but I want to push people in their limits. Because I think that because of the culture and the culture, the way we are raised, there is so many things that block us. But actually, deep inside, I think that many people want to talk to us about it, but they just feel like they are not. They just feel like it's not right. And me, I'm the kind of person. Maybe that's not the right thing to do, but I know I'm a person like my dad likes to say. Well, she doesn't have her tongue.
But that's your nature. I know as well. You lived in the western part of Africa.
Yes, 10 years in Senegal.
So you were 10 years in Senegal. What were you doing there?
Well, I went to live in Senegal. I was married. I was actually Senegalese. And what I really liked about Senegal was a very peaceful country, very welcoming, and then no crime.
Oh, really?
That was
That's
one of the
interesting. I didn't know that.
No crime at all.
Wow.
I think that one of
I heard it's beautiful.
Beautiful, yes. But I think that there is no place more beautiful in South than Cape Town. Seriously, let's be honest.
Oh, now you're agreeing to that. You don't need to have been having this conversation. Anyway, let's not go there.
No, what I mean is that the only thing I didn't like about South Africa was the fact that the fact there was no security. And I'm a person. I love to go to people and to talk to them. I'm the kind of person who will go to township and sit next to an old lady selling her banana and start talking to her, because actually I think that you learn a lot from elders, you see. So I've always been like that. Unfortunately, here in South Africa, I couldn't do it, and it was really frustrating because even though I come from a wealthy family, my dad and my mom are very, very simple people, very simple, and
very humble.
And I'm very, very humble, and I think that, and I thank God that it's something that I inherit from them. So you will not see me mingling with people of the big society. That's not really my thing.
Not that you don't mingle, but you're okay to mingle and interact with anyone.
Yes.
Well, from what
actually,
I
do.
know.
I interact with everyone, but I don't have any problem sleeping on the floor. Maybe some people are shocked about it, and I don't have any problem. like what I loved about Senegal was nobody knew who I was, so I could see my capacity, my weakness, and everything. So I could challenge myself there, because I wouldn't have anybody that's going to make things easy for me, because I was the daughter of. So
and you ran a school, if I remember.
What happened?
A gym or school, yeah.
Actually, what happened is that when I was in Senegal, I noticed that there was no. When you have a child, you cannot bring him anywhere to have fun. So there was nothing. So I decided to open an indoor playground.
Okay, indoor playground.
Exactly. That was called Zippyland. Exactly. So it was the first indoor and outdoor playground in Dakar, and then it was extremely successful. There was birthday party and all that. But there was one point that I didn't study when I did my business plan.
Which
was that during the week, there's nobody coming.
Right.
So that was a
So that was a challenge for you as an
exactly.
entrepreneur, in terms of how do I make use of the space? There's no money coming in.
But I still have people that was working for me, and I was and I didn't want to hire them just for weekends, because I thought it wasn't right. You see. Yeah. So what I decided to do was to turn it into a school. So I went to the and then actually the reason why I decided to turn it into a school was, even though I do speak French, in my point of view today, if you really want to help your kids, I don't think that French is the most important language to learn. I think that English is very important. Chinese is extremely important.
Oh, at the moment, yeah.
That is my.
And you speak a lot of other languages. Which other languages do you speak? Remind me.
Okay, I study Spanish, Hindi. I speak Hausa, Alpular, obviously French and English. Did I forget something?
Italian? No?
No Italian.
Okay.
The teacher was so rude that she made me run away.
I'm probably Arabic.
No.
No, okay, no, really?
It's very funny because my family, my sisters, they are very much into everything that has to be, that's Arabic. Yes. They want to learn, they study actually, they like to learn how to speak Arabic. Right. They want their kids to learn. But personally, I don't see what's going to help my kids and myself to learn it. So I decided that I don't go for things that's not going to be useful for me.
To you.
Seriously, I don't. And I don't see why I should make my kids study something that's not going to help them. Obviously, I will push them to study Chinese. That's for sure, you see.
Because that's probably the in thing, now in terms of the way the world is opening, and COVID has probably shown some of us as well how, language I think is still important. So you're really blessed.
But you know what I don't understand? There is one thing that really shocked me, and that's one of the reasons why I became a consultant. I opened my consultancy company, was the fact that English-speaking country in Africa and French-speaking country in Africa do not do much business at all. And the excuse they will always give you is like, oh no, it's because we have the language barrier. Yeah. But how would you explain that most of the Chinese, they come to Africa and they never study our language, so they don't want to. But if you see, they will force their workers, African workers, to learn their language, you see? But they will never go for other language, they're not interested about it. So if those countries can work with the Chinese, why they couldn't work in between them, you see. So I decided to do my consultancy company because I wanted to try to see how to help those countries to be able to work together, and thank God I've succeeded in that side, in that aspect. Yeah. And then what I was saying about the school was, one of the reasons why I wanted to open the school was a school where children can speak English, French, obviously because of the main language, and Chinese, was because the kids that were going to private school who are wealthy could afford to go to like those schools, which are very, very expensive. So, and most of them were foreigners, okay? So I was always thinking, why does foreigners come to our countries, have the best education, while our kids cannot have it, you see? So I thought it was not acceptable. That is the reason why I decided to open the first trilingual language school, first trilingual school in Senegal. And then in order to do so, I went to the Chinese embassy, and thank God they really helped me, and they were giving us teacher for free.
Wow.
So it was really, they were very,
the Chinese languages, the key ones are Cantonese.
Actually Mandarin. So it was really, they were very, very helpful. We even had
That's interesting.
Exactly.
But they were probably proud and happy
that, exactly.
you're doing that.
And it was really...
Although saying that, I think at one time, Mandarin or Cantonese in South Africa too was allowed as an extra language or something to be taught. I remember hearing
but that if it's the case, that would be a good thing. But I definitely know that I want my kids to learn it. If I could learn it too, it would be but I don't know if my...
Well, you're good with languages, so you should be able to pick up easily.
I've been living in Senegal for 10 years. I don't speak Wolof. That is the biggest shame.
Oh, you didn't learn how to speak the language?
No, I don't know why. It's like there was something that was blocking my brain in that language. I don't know why. It just couldn't go in.
And can you speak?
Wolof?
No, here I'm talking now about South Africa.
Any
Africans?
I haven't been staying long enough.
You've been staying longer.
No,
come on.
just
You come and go and come.
Exactly.
But now you're here. You've accepted that Cape Town is beautiful. Not that you didn't say it wasn't.
It's a
but
very
it's a security
beautiful
issue, I know.
It's a very
which is a big issue.
I just think that I really hope that South African will be more open to what's happening outside of their country, and that's the thing that's unfortunate, because like here they tend to say there's no jobs, but actually there are so many skills Black South African that we can use in those countries, like in the French country we can have skilled teachers who can go and see. So that is one of the things I hope I will be able to do, yeah.
Obviously, you're from a wealthy family. Your dad has done well as an entrepreneur. You've done well as an entrepreneur yourself in terms of some of the businesses. You've started in Switzerland, in Senegal, in South Africa, and you went to Nigeria as well to try Nigeria, but you ran back. Well, anyway, let's leave Nigeria out of that one.
Yeah.
But saying that, your dad originally came from Nigeria.
80% of my family are from Nigeria, yes. From Kano, the Muslim part of the
yes. So, you have a lot of respect for your dad, obviously.
Too much.
So, what are some of the challenges for you as a child? Because sometimes people think or feel that, you have a wealthy father or parent or mother or whatever, then life is easy for you. What kind of challenge, for you do you want to share, with us in terms of either your dad or your family business or whatever?
In my case, I think the first challenge was the fact that I'm a very outspoken person. Let's say, you can even say I'm a boyish, that's how this is. Exactly. So, being the eldest daughter, I had to show the example to my siblings, you see. So I couldn't afford myself to do anything that I wanted to do. And actually, I would not say I missed anything of that, but my parents and my brothers had a lot of trust in me. So because of that trust, I can tell you I've never done anything wrong when I was in Switzerland. Unfortunately for all my friends, because they wanted to do parties in the house, and I was like, no.
Not allowed.
My father will be very disappointed if he heard that, so no. So anyways, and then the other thing I think that's very challenging to all wealthy kids is the fact that people think that everything is very easy for us, which is actually not. Because sometimes we really, let's say you want to do, first of all, we want to do things by ourselves because we have, all of us have our personal talent, okay? And then we want to do things by ourselves, but when we need help, people assume that how come you need help, you're the daughter of, or the son of, and it's very, very hard, you see? And I think that people don't.
And that must be tough.
It's horrible.
I remember recently I heard you use that term that money does not buy you happiness.
Money doesn't buy you happiness at all.
Yeah.
Actually, money brings a lot of headache in your life, unfortunately.
Well, a lot of people will say, no, but why do you have that headache? That's what some people will tell you.
But trust me, the thing is that you have people coming around you, you don't know if they really love you for who you are. That's very bad. And like my dad, there is one case where that was quite shocking for me, where my dad was saying that, told us, I remember we had a meeting with my two sisters at that time, and he said to me, let me tell you something. Girls from rich family are not good girls to get married with. And we were like, what are you talking about? He was like, because your daddy gives you everything. So when you get married to someone who doesn't have the same level as you, you're going to say, okay, let's say you say you want this bag and you say you cannot afford it. You're going to say, okay, it's fine. You're just going to take your phone and say, Dad, I want this. Then, or when you have your husband is from the same level as you, he says that there's still a kind of a competition, okay? So
it's tough.
Yes, but I think that maybe he went overboard because he didn't want any of us to get married. So he was like, you know what, just stay with your dad, it's better for you girls, you know. And I'm sure that was his plan, okay? Anyway, that's what he said at the end.
I'm sure he will say it a different way if he was here.
Yeah.
So we don't know for sure. But it must be tough because you're a mother yourself now and you have a daughter.
Yes.
How do you feel, you know, in terms of, okay, your daughter now, you know, whereby now comes and say, oh, my father or my mother is rich or wealthy and so
I don't raise my kids.
Okay. How do you raise your kids?
One of the reasons why I didn't want to live in South Africa was that for me it was I consider I'm a village girl because even though, and I thank my dad for that again, even though he was making money, we were not going to fancy. We didn't grow going to fancy restaurant. We used to eat our papa at home, okra sauce, and we were not.
So you grew up normal, like
really normal. We were not going anywhere. And then when we had holiday, we were going to the village. So and then our hobby was to do competition amongst us to see who. We used to have small plots in the house, so everybody was competing to see which who was the best farmers.
Okay.
So and that's one of the reasons that even in this house, I want my kids to have those skills because I think it's very important.
So you're bringing them up to know that okay, you might have people taking care of them, but they need to be practical to know how things work. I know your daughter bakes and she loves baking.
I force my kids, actually they have passion for cooking, both of them. And then I love to challenge them too.
So you're keeping them grounded.
Very, very grounded. And I'm not the kind of mother who will not talk about every topics with the kids. I allow them to be themselves, and I allow them to ask all the questions. And I feel there was a few weeks ago my son asked me some question regarding the religion. And funny enough, the question he asked, I was asking that to myself for quite a long time.
Right.
And I was very proud he asked that question. You see, he was like, Mom, you know what? I have doubt about this part of the religion. There is something that doesn't
add up.
Exactly. And I was like, but it's normal. I said it's normal, but just choose everything that you see that's you're comfortable with, and that's it. The most important is to have faith, and I'm learning my kids not to focus on religion because too much because I believe in all the religion. For me, it's just a continuity. Unfortunately, people don't take the time to study it that much, and I'm a person. I love to read. I'm extremely curious. I love to discover new culture, and I love villages. I'm a village girl. Like that is something. I remember in one of the interviews they asked me where was the best place I could say for me, and I always tell them it's my village because that's where I have the best memories.
What's the name of your village?
Ndawara. Yes.
So is it near Yaounde?
Not at all. It's
Okay.
It's like 10 hours driving.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
On the mountain.
So that's where your dad's ranch and
exactly
everything. So you get the horses and everything.
And then the good thing was that when we were in the village, you see, we used to run around and go to every village's house, and we will eat in this house. Then tomorrow we'll eat in this. And I used to love baby. I used to. So when there was a house that there was a baby, I would wake up in the morning. My mom will dress me, and I was awake for the whole day. And they knew that where is Maimouna? She's there. So when there was a baby in the house, you would be sure that I was in that house. That was my new house.
So you've been. Oh, you have an experience as well with Morocco?
Yes, actually, yes. When I started consulting, like I told you, my aim was to help companies who want to implement themselves in Africa. So and at the same time, French and English country tried to see how to allow them to work together. So I was approached by OCP, which is one of the biggest fertilizing company in the world. Actually, it's the number one, which is a Moroccan company, and I worked for them as a consultant. So I was there to help them to see all the possibility for us to penetrate the Western market.
Right.
And I am very proud to say that I did a very good job. But I had to leave because they wanted me to settle in Morocco. And
but I heard Morocco is one of the best places
for me
in Africa. That's what I heard from another African sister. I haven't been. I've never been.
If there was a place I would love to live, it would be definitely Marrakesh.
Right.
But unfortunately, the job was in Casablanca. So I was going to Morocco like 2-3 times a month, because of meetings and all that. But in Casablanca, and it's a big city. I don't like big cities. I grew up in a very small city.
So you're still used. I find that hard to believe sometimes. That you're like what you say, a villager, and you like small and find that hard.
I like noise though.
You like?
I like that. Like my dad.
No, you don't like noise. The other day I heard music.
No, when I say noise, I love to go to the market and see how people are vibrant. And I'm always proud to see those youngsters who are trying to do. I'm always impressed. So. Yeah.
So what, in terms of, maybe let me look at Africa very quickly first, then I'll now come to you, and then we're getting there to the closing. What else do you think can be done in Africa? Because you've lived in different parts of Africa now, and we battle with so many issues in Africa, from poverty to corruption to unemployment to health issues and so on. What do you think, or what would you like to see, to be done in Africa for the benefit of your son and future generation?
Yeah. I think that the most important things to do, first of all, is for us to know our history. And I think it's extremely important that we learn more about our history, and then we're proud of it. You see, that is very, very important. I think that because of slavery and all this, even though we don't feel it, but I think unconsciously it's still affecting us, even it's generation to generation. Because if you think, I was reading a magazine 2 days ago, and I saw that now, I think it's in Nigeria, in Nigeria now they're producing cars. Yes. Like very good cars. Yes. And then the first thing I thought was like, you know what, I want a car from there. Not because actually we have so many stigma in our brain thinking that, you know what everything that's come from white people are but actually,
or from abroad, from the Western world.
it's very, very bad. And the other thing that is important for us who study overseas, okay, because we don't have any, we don't have that how do you say, inferiority complex that many African has when they're in front of a white person. You see? So I think that we have a big role to play in the sense that we have to make the Western countries to learn to respect us. For me, that's very, very important because they want to do, they cannot do, they need us. Today, we have to know that they need us. But if they need us, they have to learn our way of being. They should not impose us our way of being, of doing things. And then, but in order to do that, we have ourselves to be firm on that, and you understand, and we have to have trust in ourselves. So I think that's the most important thing that will help us. If we manage to master that, then the sky is the limit.
Now back to you. What is the future? What would you like to? Where would you like to go? What's your vision? I know you started by wanting to do debates and a talk show. Like I guess Oprah Winfrey is one of your role model.
Very much. So, actually, 2 years ago, the French company Canal Plus, which is very, very well known, wanted me to have a show, and that show was named Maimouna, the Africa of Maimouna, something like that. So the idea was good, but I didn't like the concept and the fact that that's not me. I was happy about the idea because they wanted to show all because people think that we don't have good restaurants in Africa, we don't have things, they think that we don't have beautiful houses. So the show was for me to go through all the
different positive.
Exactly, to go like this show is gonna be we're gonna be in Nigeria, then the next show. So I was supposed to go through every country and show that we are we have an elite, we have an extremely good restaurant. So that the idea was good, but at that time I thought that maybe it wasn't good for my father's image, because my father is a person that's extremely low profile, and I didn't want anything that could upset him. But today, I mean, really today I'm in a crossroad, let's say, and I really feel like I need to do things that I really passionate about.
For you yourself,
exactly,
as opposed to family.
Exactly, and then so I would love to do a debate show where I will be talking, because actually I think there's a lot of issue that we have to debate on. We African first before trying to win the world, because the world cannot respect us if we do not understand each other first of all. So we have some fight that's actually stupid fight. One of the fight that I always say is like, they say yes, there is racism, but at the end of the day, tribalism is racism. It's just the name that's changing. So
tribalism,
exactly.
Everything, they're all kind of is about not appreciating or tolerating each other.
Exactly. And then I think that the image of woman has to change too in Africa. Because I know that in many instances I couldn't travel with my dad for some of his business meetings because I was a girl, and I think that was unacceptable. I'm sure that he wanted to protect me, but what I've learned through all those experiences traveling and working with all those people that are very well known is that actually being a woman is a huge asset. That is something unbelievably. When you're a woman, you're blessed to do business in Africa, because actually doors are more easily open to you, because men trust women more than they trust men. So that I can tell all the girls out there that they should really challenge themselves and go for everything they think is possible. Everything is possible.
Wow, that's a lot that we've covered, and as always, we really, really hope we can go on and on and on. But what I would say, right now is there anything, final thought in conclusion that you want to share or say to our viewers and, just face them to tell them? Thank you.
The only advice I can give to all the young people out there is never to take a no, never consider a no a negative thing, because many people have amazing ideas, but their fear stops them from trying. And then at the end of the day, if you try and then it doesn't work, at least you know that you tried. And always use always use your mistakes to improve yourself. Do not take any criticism. And the worst thing that a human being can have, in my point of view, that can stop him from growing is ego. Humility, you have to have humility, whether you're from a rich family, whether you're not from a rich, but humility and respect will always bring you far. Because you never know what a person will be tomorrow. So never undermine any person. Always give respect to everybody, from the maid to the old man, anybody you meet, because actually you never know what can happen tomorrow. That's the only thing I can say. And for me, I don't like the words impossible. I hate it. For me, there is nothing impossible. You just have to continue trying until it happens. Thank you.
Wow, that is powerful. So a lot, has been said there. Humility is the key.
Oh, sorry. One thing that I need to say too. You have to trust yourself. Whether the whole world is against you, whether the whole world thinks that you are not what you think you are, you just have to give a damn about it. Trust yourself, trust your ability, knows your flaws, knows your strength, and let me tell you, never allow anybody to put you down and to make you feel low. Because at the end of the day, the most important is what you yourself think about yourself. What other people, even your parents, what your parent thinks about you, what people around you think about is not important. You have to trust your instinct and you have to trust yourself. So the first lesson to learn from this world is to try to know yourself, know your ability, work on your weakness, and then once you master that, there is nothing that you cannot possibly do. Impossible. And there is always things to do there. I know that people are going to say, oh, there's no job. But if there is no job, go sell bananas in the road. I know that people are shocked, but I'm the kind of person who, let me tell you, when my daughter was in Senegal, I have my niece who came from Nigeria, and my daughter said, my son and my daughter wanted to go and sell the makunya that they were doing at home.
What's that? Is that a snack?
Makala.
Okay.
In South Africa, they call it makunya.
Yeah.
So they did the makunya, and then they went on the street, and they were selling it with tea. And you see, I didn't even know about it. So when I was coming back home, I just saw them on the street. They took a table at home and they were selling it. And I was so proud of them. I was extremely proud. I was like, wow. That was making me, even though they knew that they can afford things, they wanted to have things for themselves. And I think that's one of the reasons why I left my family and I went to discover the world and see what I was capable to do by myself. And now I came back, and I came back stronger and ready to help my family whenever they need me, but at the same time continuing what I'm doing for myself.
Wow. Well done.
Thank
well
you so
done.
much.
So proud of you and
Thank
your
you.
journey.
Thank
And there's a lot more of lives, that are waiting for you to impact, and the ones you've impacted in various ways. So well done, and thank you, for allowing us to your beautiful home and doing this with you. And I look forward to more of such talk shows. And then we forget about Oprah Winfrey. We'll call it Maimouna Africa, like you said.
Definitely. But
So,
please,
watch
everyone,
out.
pray. Faith is very important. We have to always pray
Yeah.
because everything is possible when we believe in God. And I think that, and I always thank God for my journey, whether they were good or bad. But really, you have to keep your faith and.
We could go on and on. Me and you, we can talk for Africa.
Definitely.
But thank you and
Thank you
wish
so
you
much too
all
for
the very best.
Thank you so much, Kemi, for thinking about me. This show. I really appreciate it.
Well, guys, remember till next time, this is Mama K. You've heard a lot, that has been said there, and this is part of our Africa special series, Impact Africa. And we look forward to more of such interview with people who are just sharing their stories and their journey. And we hope, you've been impacted in one way or the other. Remember, stay safe, stay blessed. God is love. Love you guys. Till next time.